Now, good morning. As we were discussed about the cutoff frequency and the modes of propagation in rectangular waveguide, and it has been easily you might have digested regarding the modes of operation, in which mode a particular waveguide it has been operating, and what is TE23, TE12. So how can we identify that? And I think you can easily draw the modes of propagation. Is it have you practiced that? Is it clear for you, the modes of propagation? Yes, anyone of you just respond, Andy, or you can put it in the chat box. Is that clear? Whatever it is being discussed in the related to the modes of propagation. See, all of you must join with the rule numbers, Andy. One of the student join with a name. Joining with the name is being not allowed, Andy. You have to be within a rule number followed by the name if required. Why the strength has been less in the morning? In the first hour, it is actually the strength has been very less, Andy. Okay, I'm going to start. As you are aware that modes of propagation, you have given an that it is been, you have got the idea how to draw and how to identify the modes of propagation, and later on we have discussed about the cutoff of frequency. Now we are going to discuss the dominant mode. We'll see the name itself, it shows that it will dominant. In what way the mode will be dominant, and we can identify that which of the modes. There are several modes which are available. In case of transverse electric TE, the different modes are available. So where we have discussed that in case of TE mode of rectangular waveguide, and it has been known that in case of rectangular waveguide, only two modes are possible, that is TE and TM, and the modes of propagation of this are nothing but TE00, TE01, TE10, TE11, and so on, TE12, TE13, TE21, like this. And here also we have TM00, TM01, TM10, TM11, and so on. And here it's a very important point I'm going to discuss. These three modes, whatever have specified here, related to the TM mode, only these three only. TM00, TM01, TM10. These three modes, whatever I have written, it is not existing. These modes are not existing because as we have derived in the equations, the wave equations for TM, we have EX, EY, HX, HY, we have discussed. Whenever those are in terms, we have derived an equation of EX, EY, HX, and HY. We have derived the expression of TM modes for these four expressions. The wave equations or field equations, it has been derived, which are in terms of sine m pi by a, and a sine m pi by b, b sine n pi by b, something like that. And where when we substitute these terms, whenever we substitute these TM00 value, it is nothing but m and n value. These 00 specifies m and n values. So when we substitute this 00 as here, and 01 and 10, whenever we take the values of m and n of these three modes of TM, and when we substitute in the field equations of TM mode, all these will result as 0. Means these three modes are not at all existing. Only it is in case of TM only. And whereas in case of T, all the modes are existing there. Whenever we substitute the values of m and n in the wave equations of TE mode, there will get the numerical value, or some value is being produced. And where it will not be 0, where all the modes are existing in case of TE. But whereas in case of TM, these three are not existing, and beyond this TM11, TM12, TM21 and so on are existing. Only first three are not existing. Please do remember this. Please inform the others also, where I'll be anyhow giving the material related to that. And now, as we are aware that the types of modes are available in case of TE and TM related to rectangular waveguide. Now we'll see what is meant by dominant mode. Now, dominant mode is nothing but, here it shows that the mode having highest cutoff wavelength, means that is lambda, or lowest cutoff frequency is called as dominant mode. I'll be explaining this. Is called as dominant mode. Okay, I'll be taking this keyboard and it's somewhat disturbing the things. Okay, now where it has been seen that the mode having highest cutoff wavelength lambda c or lowest cutoff frequency is called dominant mode. We'll see, we'll take an example and we'll see how it can be explained, the dominant mode. And first of all, as I've told, in case of TE mode, we'll consider. In case of TE mode, there are four modes are possible. That is TE00, TE01, and TE10 and TE11. So these are the four modes which are possible in case of transverse electric TE mode. First, we'll consider about TE00 mode, how to calculate the dominant mode. So we have an expression of the cutoff wavelength. It has been very important. The cutoff wavelength expression, it is being given as we have the cutoff frequency, we can convert that into a cutoff wavelength. So which takes the values as lambda c is equal to 2ab by m square b square plus n square a square. So this is the expression of cutoff wavelength, where A and B are the dimensions of rectangular waveguide. A is in a larger dimension, B is a smaller dimension as height of the waveguide here, and M and N are the modes. So using this expression, we are going to calculate the cutoff wavelength for these four possible modes. Using this cutoff wavelength expression, we are going to calculate these four modes, and we can decide that which is the dominant mode. On what basis we can decide? Simultaneously, I'm going to explain. From the definition, as I've told that, the modes which are having highest cutoff wavelength. So we are about to calculate now. So let us take an example, TE00. So when we substitute m equal to 0 and n equal to 0 in this particular expression, is totally it becomes 0. So TE00, here the value of cutoff wavelength is for lambda c z00 equal to 0. Are you following any? If you have any problem, please let me know. Okay, fine. And now we'll see the next dominant mode, as it is being 00, as this does not exist. We can say that it does not exist, as it is been having 0 cutoff wavelength. This does not exist only in case of T, whereas in TM, first three are not existing. Now calculating the second one, TE01, where m equal to 0 here and n equal to 1. Now substituting this expression, we'll get 2ab divided by, then where m, it takes the value of 0 here. So this becomes 0. Then it becomes 0 plus n is been taking the value 1, so that it is a square. So then a square, this square and square root gets cancelled. Then the left out term will be equal to 2b. So this is the expression of the cutoff wavelength for TE01 mode. Are you following, Andy? Is it okay? Are you following? If you have any problem, please let me know, Andy. So you have to understand each and everything, the concept wise, and it should not be a behatted one. Please stop me wherever you get confused or are not able to follow. And now T for we are going to calculate for T10. So for that, lambda C10 will be equal to where m will be equal to 1 and n will be equal to 0 here. Now substituting this expression where we get, it is been reversed to the earlier one. Here we get the value as b square and it is been 0 because n equal to 0 here. As n square a square, n will be equal to 0. Then we will get the value as 2a. And the last one, T11, when we calculate the cutoff wavelength for this expression, we'll get by substituting the value of m and n as 1, we'll get the values as a square plus b square. So we'll get the values as a square plus b square. Now this is enough cutoff wavelength. Now we can observe that one of the value here and 2a and other value. So where we know that the rectangular waveguide, it is being given as, this is the rectangular waveguide. So this is the wide dimension we have, and this is dimension of as b. Now among these three, can you tell me which is been having higher value, Andy? Which among these three will have higher value? Either 2b or 2a or this third expression. Just I want to listen it from your side, Andy. Which among these three will have higher value? Please be serious, Andy. Attentive and listen to the class. It's been taking a lot of efforts to make this subject to follow you in a more easy method. So simultaneously, you have to support and cooperate in the same way. Now let me know which among these three, make it fast, and which among these three will have a higher value. Do it. I'm waiting for your response.
2a, sir.
2a. Fine, and so I want others also to involve the same thing and don't sit ideally. So 2a, as a value has been higher here, larger dimension of rectangular waveguide. So yeah, 2a. Fine, Andy. Good response. Okay, you are putting in the chat box. It's okay, fine, Andy. So 2a will take a higher value here. Okay, and so that we can see that the 2a value is for the case of TE10. Hence, as the values of m and n increases, that cutoff wavelength value will be keep on decreasing. You can see here, it is m equal to 1, n equal to 0. The next case we have m equal to 1 and n equal to 1. The next we will be having T21, T12, T13, T31, T23, and so on. As the m and n values increases, the cutoff value will be decreasing there. So from these four, we can say that, so these three, we can say that the TE10 is having highest cutoff wavelength. Hence, TE10 is considered to be dominant mode for the case of TE10 for TE modes. So TE10 is a dominant mode. So this is how we can identify the dominant mode in case of TE for the case of rectangular waveguides. So this is the way we can identify the dominant mode. So no need to Bahat, it's been clearly have derived this. In how can we say that the mode which is been dominant? Is that clear, and is this okay? Okay, fine. You
Yes,
have
sir.
to respond in a chat box. You can put it in the chat box so that I can identify that you are listening and concentrating the things. Okay. And now I'm going to see for the case of TM, for the TM modes, which is in a dominant mode. So for that, as I have told that for the case of TM mode, we are going to check which is the dominant mode. So as I have told that first three are not existing, only the fourth one TM1, from TM11 onwards, the modes are existing in case of TM mode. So that it takes the value as m equal to 1 and n equal to 1. We'll get the same value as we have seen the earlier one, which is equal to 2ab by root of a square plus b square. Hence, after this, other modes which are possible as T1, M2 or 21, TM, 23 and so on are existing. As we have seen that M and N values are increases, the cutoff wavelength will be decreasing. As M comma N values will be keep on increasing, the modes value increases, the cutoff wavelength we have seen in the previous example as it has been decreasing. So that from these we can understand that lambda C11 it is been having this particular expression. So it is the dominant mode. No need to by heart, and the TM11 is the dominant mode in case of TM modes. In case of TE mode, which is the dominant mode, I may ask this frequently, and in next coming classes also, it's been very useful. We will be keep on recalling the terms. Which is the dominant mode case in case of TE mode? Put it in the chat box. Yes, Andy. More answers. T10, fine. Good response. T10 is the dominant mode in case of TE modes, and TM11 is the dominant mode in case of TM modes. So this is all about the concept of the dominant mode, and where we can see this. And similarly, we can say that F0 it is been greater than FC, or lambda naught is less than lambda C. So this is also in a condition here, where the cutoff frequency should be greater than the operating frequency, or the operating wavelength should be less than the cutoff wavelength. Or those such type of condition can be called as, those type of modes are called as dominant mode. This is the condition for the dominant mode. Okay, after this concept, I'm going to explain about the degenerative mode. It's another concept. I think it's been clear for you. I'm going to explain the another concept, degenerative mode. Please, you can take the screenshots wherever it has been required, and you can practice this, and we can maintain a running notes. Okay, so that it should be familiar for you, whatever the topics we are going to discuss. Degenerative mode. It's been very simple concept, Andy, where the modes which are having same cutoff frequency, modes which are having the same cutoff frequency, where the clear definition it can be given as sum of the higher order modes having same cutoff frequency are called as degenerative mode, or called as degenerative mode. Okay, let me justify this definition here, and this can be given as, you can take an example where this can be explained as FC. We know the expression as FC is equal to C by 2, which is equal to M by A whole square, which we have derived in the previous classes, N by B whole square. Okay, in this case, now let us calculate for T11 will calculate what is FC, and for TM11 we'll calculate what is the value of FC. So for that, M equal to 1 and N equal to 1. Okay. Substituting that for FC TE11, FC cutoff frequency for TE11 can be calculated as, so substituting in the expression as C by 2, which is equal to, what is the value of M here? It is 1 by A whole square plus the N value is also 1, so that it is 1 by B whole square. So this is the expression of cutoff frequency for TE11 mode. Now we'll check out for TM11. For TM11, it can be given as FC for TM11 as the values of M and N takes as 1, so that it is being equal to same as the previous expression. You can see that the cutoff frequency expressions for both the cases or for both the modes, it is been equal. So such type of modes are said to be degenerative modes. Okay, TE11 and TM11 are the degenerative modes. So apart from that, we too have another modes. So that can be taken as something like TE23 is enough, and TE32. You can see that these two are equal. M is equal to 2 in one case, N equal to 3. But whereas here, M equal to 3 and N equal to 2 in another case. Hence, if we substitute these two values in the above expression, so once again, we'll get the cutoff frequency value for these two modes will be equal. Hence, these are said to be degenerative modes. Not only in case of TM11 here, we can also see in the same modes with different values here. Okay. So similarly, TE13 is equal to TE31. In case of TM also, it has been same. And such type of combination of modes are said to be degenerative modes. Is that clear? And you can take in a single screenshot so that it will be easier for you, the degenerative modes. So in which case it has been said to be of degenerative modes. The modes which are having the same cutoff frequencies are said to be degenerative modes. Okay. Is that clear? So you have to keep on responding only. So only then I can understand that, or else I'll be calling your rule numbers. Whether the concept clear or not. Okay, fine. Rule number 6, Andy. Rule number 6. 406, 18 series 406. Are you there? Rule number 406. So if it has been not responding, it seems that he's been just logged in and moved away. So in such case, I won't give any attendance. I have already said this in the previous classes. Unless and until you responded, I won't give any attendance to you. It's up to you then. I'll be checking for rule number 6 today. So this is all the modes of propagation which we have seen, and the cutoff frequency we have seen in the dominant mode and the degenerative mode. So we can see whatever the topics I'm going to explain, clear cut, and you can check out with the syllabus. In the same way, I'm going to proceed here. I'm not going to miss out even a single line or single word in the syllabus. I'm going to cover from A to Z, so that it should not be a loss for you. Even in this online classes also, it should be justification to be made for you. Okay. So keeping in view that I'm going to explain each and every topic and every word in this syllabus which is being stated to you. Okay. So, and similarly, you have to support that. You have to be cooperate, and you have to learn in the same. The response should be same. Okay. And each and every manner, you have to be support to me in the same case to make the subject very clear for you. Okay. And now Rule number 6406, I'll check out. Already have told you many times. Next, we are going to discuss the next topic, as these are the few small topics where we'll be making use very frequently in next coming classes. Next, this is the phase velocity. If the class get disconnected, please join once again. The important two small topics I'm going to discuss: phase velocity and group velocity. Okay, by that I will be winding up the class. Please be attentive. These are also equally important as we have discussed in the previous case. So this is a phase velocity. Now it can be defined as, it's been defined in a simple manner. So for the phase velocity, so it is nothing but the velocity of the wave, the velocity of the propagated wave, velocity of propagated wave which undergoes a phase shift. It is been not restricted to certain 90 degrees or 180, something like that. Okay, whatever it might be, there will be some phase shift with respect to the input signal. So such type of signal which is been propagating through the rectangular waveguide are termed to be phase velocity. So this is the definition. Whenever the wave is being propagating, there is a shift in phase when inside the waveguide. Okay, so this is the rectangular waveguide. So whatever the concepts we are discussing, it is being totally related to the rectangular waveguide only. Okay, and it has been almost a few cases it will be same there. So totally we are discussing about the rectangular waveguide. What are the cutoff wavelength, dominant mode, okay, then phase velocity, group velocity, everything it is been related to the rectangular waveguide. So when the wave is being propagating, so during the propagation, the wave, it may undergo some phase shift with some certain velocity which is been propagating into the waveguide. So that is nothing but the phase velocity. Okay, so this is the definition we have. And let me derive a small expression where related to this. We know that F is equal to C by lambda, where C can be termed as the velocity. Here I'm taking as phase velocity, and lambda I'm considering it as lambda G. Lambda G is nothing but the guide wavelength. It is a phase velocity and it's a guide wavelength. Substituting the same thing here, F is equal to phase velocity divided by lambda G. And with this expression, I'm bringing out to a standard derivation. We know that beta is equal to 2 by lambda. We know this particular way. So it is enough. The beta is nothing but the phase constant 2 pi by lambda. Here lambda can be considered as the lambda G, the guide wavelength. I'll be explaining about this guide wavelength, and where lambda G can be written as, which is equal to 2 pi by beta. Okay, 2 pi by beta. And with this, I'm going to substitute in the expression as, where from this expression we can write that the phase velocity will be equal to F into lambda G. Then F into lambda G be nothing but 2 pi by lambda. So substituting here 2 pi by lambda, 2 pi by beta. Lambda G is nothing but, here whatever the value of lambda G, I'm substituting this lambda G here. Okay. Then what is 2 pi F, Andy? What is 2 pi F here? You can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute and say yourself. What is 2 pi F here? Yes, fine, Andy. Omega. So few of the students are very active. So I expect the same from others also. Fine, good. Omega, good. And it is nothing but omega by beta. So that we can write this as phase velocity can be given as omega by beta. So this is the expression we'll be using for calculating the problems also. For simplification, we'll be using Vp is equal to omega by beta. Now we can also express this phase velocity in terms of frequencies. Okay. Frequencies means in terms of cutoff frequencies. We'll see how to do that, the cutoff frequencies. Earlier, we know that in the wave equations, you can see that we have come across this particular expression in the derivations previously, which we have worked out. So beta is equal to, we have an expression instead of beta, where we have taken as the propagation constant gamma. So we have used this particular equation in the derivation, which we have used for deriving TE and TM modes, where propagation constant gamma, which gamma square is equal to m pi by a whole square plus n pi by b whole square minus omega square mu epsilon. You can go through that in the derivation, whatever we have worked out. So this is nothing but gamma square is equal to m pi by a whole square, n pi by b whole square minus omega square mu epsilon. Same, m and n are modes of the propagation. A and B are dimensions of the rectangular waveguide. Omega is the angular frequency. Mu and epsilon are permeability and permittivity of rectangular waveguide. Now, simplifying this, we know that gamma is equal to alpha plus j beta, where attenuation constant is totally zero. There is no signal get attenuated, so that gamma will be totally equal to j beta. So that's substituting here the j beta. If we substitute, then taking the root on both sides, removed here, then we can write this as, this can be written as m pi by a whole square, n pi by b whole square minus omega square mu epsilon. So this is the term we have reduced it into a standard expression as, by substituting gamma is equal to jb whole square, means this whole square have taken to the root. Okay, have taken square root on both sides. So square and root gets cancelled here, and this it becomes in terms of root over here. And now we are going to check out the value of the cutoff frequency at to calculate some standard expression at cutoff frequency. At FC, the cutoff frequency, where it is been the cutoff frequency. Let this be equation 4, and let this be equation 4, let this be equation 3. So I'm taking this as a equation 4 over here, and at cutoff frequency, just the wave, it starts its journey to enter into the waveguide. Okay, at cutoff frequency, the wave just starts to enter into the waveguide. Hence, the propagation constant will be equal to 0 at cutoff frequency. Now, substituting this condition in the above expression, in this particular expression, you can take this as an, so in this equation, then we get, please see, listen, concentrate, just concentrate here, how I'm going to check out at cutoff frequency, the propagation constant will be equal to 0. Substituting this in this equation, okay, then we get here, which is been equal to 0. The gamma will be equal to 0 here as at cutoff frequency. Just it starts its journey. So at the initial stage, the propagation of the wave will be 0. Then this will be equal to n pi by a whole square plus n pi by b whole square minus omega square mu epsilon. Okay. Now we can write this as omega square mu epsilon is equal to this expression, m pi by a whole square plus n pi by b whole square. Now we have got the value as m pi by a whole square plus n pi by b whole square is equal to omega square mu epsilon. Substituting this expression, so whatever we get, let this be equation 5. So substituting equation 5 in 4. Okay, so wherever we get m pi by a whole square plus n pi by a whole square, I am replacing this particular value with this omega, as it is been of cutoff, as I have told that at cutoff frequency, so that I have taken it as omega c. Okay, so it has been of omega c at cutoff frequency, gamma will be equal to 0. So I have taken omega c. So substituting, replacing this term by omega c square mu epsilon. So within a minute, it is going to turn off. So rejoin once again. Just substituting, we get, so this will be reduced to j beta